The story's personal to me. My family came from the Ukraine region. My wife's originally from Belarus. And now we see that Donald Trump's losing strategy is to send a Dear Vladimir social media post this morning to Vladimir Putin to beg him to stop bombing Kiev as Donald Trump's failed diplomacy and military security plan is now in full view. Donald Trump beating up on Ukraine's Zelensky, a wartime president, telling the world, I can't work with this man. He won't abide by my peace deal. The peace deal would require Zelensky and the Ukrainian people to give up all of the land that the aggressor, Russia, stole from them, costing them hundreds of thousands of lives. And they also have to agree under the deal that the U.S. is proposing to never ask to join NATO, leaving them completely vulnerable to future attack by Russia. And the rest of NATO is already up in arms, and countries like Poland are quaking in their boots. I have friends there that have said, we now have a president that doesn't believe in NATO, who won't come and protect us. And now we're telling the Ukrainians that the only way to have peace is to guarantee future aggression and war at the hands of the Russians. As J.D. Vance and Donald Trump put Ukraine on the moral equivalency plane of the Russians. J.D. Vance, who's, I don't know, they put him off somewhere in Europe so he wouldn't hurt himself or hurt anybody. But he had time to release the statement, we just need to have a peace so that we'll have a strong Russia and a strong Ukraine. Are you insane? We're not trying to strengthen Russia. They are our mortal enemy, economically, militarily, from a diplomatic standpoint, in every way, shape, and form. We're not trying to equalize the two. You can't equalize the victim and the aggressor. And this is Donald Trump's grand Trump doctrine. This is his strategy. He wakes up and shoots out a social media post this morning and says, Vladimir, stop. This isn't good for anybody. You're losing soldiers. That's a doctrine. As Donald Trump dismantles the State Department one by one under the tutelage of little Marco Rubio, who's chloroforming his own State Department. So we have no diplomacy. We just have weakness and failure, which only undermines national security. I'm Michael Popak. You're on the MeidasTouch Network. Let's get to the intersection of law, politics, diplomacy, and national security. Donald Trump is a loser. I don't know how to put this any other way. And Donald Trump would fire Donald Trump if he wasn't Donald Trump for his losing streak since he's been in office this time around. He said, I'll solve Ukraine and Russia. I just won't tell you what it is while I'm campaigning, but as soon as I'm in, I'll get it solved. Well, we're pushing 90 days in office. Not only is it not getting solved, but every time Donald Trump or J.D. Vance or Secretary of State open their mouth, Kiev or Ukraine in general get bombed. That is the response that Putin, that's how little respect Putin has for Donald Trump. Oh, you want me to stop bombing? You want me to come to table for peace? I don't know why I'm doing that accent. Bomb Kiev. Bomb Zelensky's hometown. Do it on Easter. Do it on Christmas. And J.D. Vance and Donald Trump decided the way we're going to get peace is to emasculate and kick Zelensky in the balls. And do it publicly in the Oval Office, why don't we? And completely undermine his hand, right? And play into the hands of Putin, right? And when you don't like when Zelensky stands up for himself, for the sovereignty of Ukraine, what do? You throw him out. You literally throw him out of the Oval Office, throw him out of Washington, and cut off his funding and threaten to do more. And now you have Donald Trump yesterday, before the bombing on Kiev, say out loud, oh, my problem isn't Putin. My problem is Zelensky. He's not, I thought he'd be the easier one. Sure, he just has to give up his own sovereign borders, leave himself vulnerable for future attack, where he's not going to be supported by the United States and agree not to join NATO? Oh, where do I sign? That's such a great deal. And so this, I want people that are in that part of the aisle, the MAGA people, the people that supported him, the rock rib Republicans that see it as politically expedient to join with Donald Trump and run behind him. I want them to tell me, what is this doctrine that I am watching? Because it is a failure. And can you imagine if a Democrat was in office who said, I can solve Ukraine, Russia, can't. I'm going to beat up the Ukrainian ally in order for him to enter into an unholy alliance or bargain with the aggressor. The guy would be impeached. These are impeachable offenses. If we had a cabinet that had any balls whatsoever, they would already be at a Starbucks talking about the 25th Amendment. But they're not going to do that, which leaves the midterms, and the court system, and what we do here on the MeidasTouch Network, speaking truth to each other. That's what we got right now. Let's just say my wife and I are accumulating hundreds of baby and family photos every day, but how to display them? And we had this big long wall leading to our bedrooms that we said would be perfect for a gallery wall of a timeline from like the beginning of our relationship and then marriage and pregnancy and birth, and then another whole wall for our travels with and without the baby, but how to do it. And then I found our next sponsor, MeidasTouch, with probably the easiest website I've ever used. Click the array shape for your photos, pick your frames, pick your photos, and in like 5 minutes or less, you are done. And now those large walls that were a little bit foreboding before are filled with happy memories gallery style. It is one of our favorite spots in the house. I just ordered a mixed set of 10 of the baby in the last couple of months and let MeidasTouch's program do the rest in terms of sizing to give us that carefree gallery look we were looking for. Decorating your walls can feel overwhelming, but MeidasTouch makes it fast and easy. They've completely reinvented the way you upload, print, design, and hang your favorite photos. MeidasTouch helps you turn your most cherished memories into a stunning home gallery without the hassle. No tools, no holes, no crooked frames, just beautiful museum-quality prints that hang perfectly every time. MeidasTouch uses a revolutionary magnetic hanging system that makes decorating painless. Just peel the magnet, stick it on your wall, and pop your framed photo right on. That's it. No tools, no damage, no mess. I've heard about MeidasTouch for a long time, but never tried them because I wasn't sure if it truly stays on the wall and leaves no damage, but it actually works beautifully. And now I'm obsessed. Not only will your walls stay damage-free, but your photos will look like they were professionally hung. Gone are the days of choosing between crooked frames or a wall full of holes. With MeidasTouch, you can easily adjust each frame until it's in the perfect spot. MeidasTouch aren't just the easiest way to frame and hang your photos. They turn your memories into meaningful art. They transform any space into something personal, warm, and full of life. Every tile captures a cherished moment, a shared laugh, a sense of belonging. It's more than decor, it's your story on display. Turn your favorite memories into stunning, affordable wall art. For a limited time, our listeners get 35% off on all orders above $139. Just head to MeidasTouch.com and use code LegalAF and you're all set. That's code LegalAF at MeidasTouch.com. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask you where you heard about MeidasTouch, tell them it was from our show. But what we're watching is Donald Trump getting rocked to his core, assuming he has one, by the Supreme Court and other appellate courts, making him reverse course on his attacks on the judiciary, which he thought gave him political capital because he thought that was helping him in the polls, but the polls are in the trash. He's down 8 points. 8 points. It's one of the fastest drops ever since the election. Democrats have reversed course and once were 12 points behind in terms of who do you want to see run Congress at midterm, and now they're 12 points ahead. So Donald Trump, who runs his entire campaign, his entire administration by polling, somebody told him the polling was, we got to stop supporting Ukraine, our ally. The dead bodies, the families destroyed, especially today with the bombing in Kiev, is on the bloody hands of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the Trump administration and Marco Rubio and the National Intelligence Director and the CIA Director and everybody else. Because they have lied to the American people that they had a solution for this. And apparently their solution was, let's just victimize the victim, force him to take a terrible deal forced on him by the Russians to reward the aggressor. That's the deal. So the loser of Donald Trump, which is what he is, is now facing the reality that he got outplayed and will continue to get outplayed by a smarter, more cunning Vladimir Putin, who rubbed his hands in glee when he convinced Donald Trump through flattery and other things to attack his own enemy, go after the ally. The rest of the world can't believe the trick that Putin played on a willing Donald Trump, which was to have him attack Zelensky in a way that even the Russians couldn't have done through their trolling and their counterintelligence operations. He got the president of the United States to do it for him in the Oval Office. And that's why Europe, led by Macron and others, have to step forward into that void. Because the void that's created by the leadership vacuum, by the moral vacuum created by Donald Trump, is going to be filled by China and Russia, and already is, economically and diplomatically. When you dismantle your State Department, literally, they're going to shrink it to a size that you could drown in a bathtub. And little Marco Rubio, appropriately, is going to preside over on the obituary for the State Department. It's going to list Marco Rubio who did it. They got rid of the humanitarian aid that goes through the State Department. They closed field offices, consular offices, consulates, consular offices, embassies, and the rest, and other diplomatic corps around the world shuttered. Cut aid, U.S. aid, so that Elon Musk on the way out could say, oh, I saved us $60 billion in U.S. aid. But at what cost? So you do all of that. You signal to Putin, you can have a free hand over here. I'm not going to do a darn thing. In fact, I'm going to tell the person you've attacked, he's got to sit down with you and give you everything you want, Vladimir. And then what? And then Vladimir Putin, because he's Vladimir Putin, and he's brighter, he's stronger, he's more cunning than Donald Trump, and everybody around him bombs Kiev. And then Donald Trump wrings his hand, dear Vladimir, don't do it, man. Stop. That's a strategy. Stop the social media post stop doctrine. It's I'm fired up. You know, I mean, my people left that region in the late 1800s, early 1900s to come to America. I'm a proud, patriotic American, if you haven't noticed. There might be somebody my equal, but there's nobody more patriotic to me at all. And every bit of it. And I absorb and consume and defend every part of our United States Constitution every way I can. Here on the MeidasTouch network and on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. But this has gotten me up, man. My hackles are up. It is appalling, and blood is on Donald Trump's hands, and we can't let him forget it at the midterms. And anybody with an R that supports him, which is all of them, next to their name, you have to vote him out. You've up and down the ballot. I don't care. School board, dog catcher, tax assessor, local representative, municipal board, or your commission, up to the presidency, Congress and Senate, judges and everything. You see an R, you run. R is for run. You run from them. And you come back to democracy led by the Democrats. So until my next reporting here on the MeidasTouch Network, I'm Michael Popak. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.